Shut up over there.
I needed attention.
Obviously. Did I get your message via text? Yes, I did. Sorry, it just so happened to be in the middle of my workday, so I read it and I was all like, oh, cool. And then work. So I lost track and forgot to reply, but I knew when I texted you and told you the stream was starting, I saw it again and I was like, I'll just tell her during the stream. But yes, I saw that. Thank you. I'll write down the information in like Google so that I keep track of it more than it just disappearing on my phone somewhere. Oh, good. Oh, my leggy. Oh, okay. Let's start a ship. There's no new ships, right? Whoops. Well, I didn't want to do that, but I guess I'm doing this ship, whatever it is. It's cargo, so at least there's that. Oopsie. By the way, not shocking to anyone who's probably watching this on YouTube or whatever, but I found an easier way to get these armor plates off.
Airlock pressure levels dropping.
Doesn't take nearly as long now. You've been binge watching MST3K? Nice. It's a solid show.
Airlock pressure levels dropping. Air pressure level decreasing.
You okay over there, Cappy?
I'm sending my mom an email.
Oh.
I know, I'm doing a lot of typing.
Do I remember a show where a bunch of people lip-synced movies? Yeah, of course I do. MST3K. That's a really good show. I love it. I'm totally with you on binge watching that. Oh, these were comedians. I mean, I know there's riff tracks. I don't know if that's the same dudes, but I know the dude that ran MST3K, he was part of riff tracks for a while. Is that what you're talking about? That's the only thing I remember. Peel these things off.
I'm Commander Shepard, and this is my favorite
Streamer on Twitch. Hey, Two Talon. Thanks for the resub. Tier 3 resub. Holy crap, dude. That is amazing. Thank you very much, Two Talon.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
That is like stupid awesome of you. Yeah, I think it's riff tracks. RIFF-TRAX, I think. But yeah, one of the head dudes on MST3K was
Deposit
that
accepted.
was the dude on Rift Tracks, or one of the guys on Rift Tracks.
I'm sorry. I have a question because I can't plan right now. Is tomorrow the day my mom usually comes for laundry? Sorry.
Well, don't ever let it happen again.
No.
So yeah, you could just use the you could just use this cutter on these things instead of waiting for it to melt. That's so much faster. So I don't know if you've been doing that or not, Two Talon, but so much easier. Because then your thing also doesn't overheat.
Material deposited.
Are you telling her I'd message her tomorrow?
Yes.
Okay.
Giving her all that information we talked about prior, and that we will message you because I completely forgot to do that because of the Hulu.
I'm sorry, Two Talon. I thought you had played this. My bad. Or were you just like, I'm thinking of getting it because it looks really good? You keep giving money to these Twitch guys? They sound like jerks.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
Yeah, I thought you had mentioned the other day you were like, yeah, I'm thinking of getting it. But maybe I was thinking of somebody else. You know me and my bad memory. I could have just said me. You know me. Stupid. It is a bit grindy, but I think that'll get better soon because they're going to be releasing a new ship in a couple of weeks, I think. It could be as soon as tomorrow, but probably not. They said August is a new ship. And it's a very different design, which is going to be really nice. And I think that's really going to help some of the monotony, is having a completely different design to go exploring through. Because right now it's just heavy cargo and passenger liner. And let's be honest, the heavy cargo is much easier than the passenger liner. The passenger liner is just annoying. Way too many chairs. The barge... Problem with the passenger liner is because the barge does... the barge starts filling up. It's more of an issue. I'll let that swing out like that. If the barge could be cleaned, the passenger liner would actually probably be my favorite.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited. Oxygen reserves are low. Reminder, asphyxiation can lead to missed salvage quotas.
You played the Succubus Prologue game? Is that the one made by the same people that made Agony? because they keep sending me keys, and they're like, we'd really like you to play this game, and I'm just like, you know, more power to you for the kind of game you're making, but that is not really my style. Not on stream. Yeah, it's not really a stream safe game. The concept is really interesting, but I think the like overt heavy nudity is kind of a problem for streaming. If they made a safe for work patch, maybe I'd check it out. But the game is very not safe for work. Let's be honest.
Cutter, you got 5 minutes left in this shift. Knock out that work order before they turn the lights out on you. We wrap.
Well, that seems unpleasant. Like, I'm for gore. Like, I'm not opposed to a gory game. But when they combine gore with like heavy nudity, then it becomes a bit of a problem.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
Because, yeah, like you said, it makes it difficult to stream the game, because you're like, well, I can't... Like, Twitch's rules against nudity are pretty lax. You know, they don't care if a video game has nudity in it, they just don't want the player to, like, stay on the nudity longer than they need to in order to accomplish the thing in the game. So it's not like they're anti-nudity. It's just when the game has got that much... I don't think I feel comfortable streaming a game for hours where it's just like titties. And I'm like, okay. I like boobs as much as the next guy, but at a certain point I'm like, can the succubus put a shirt on? Sounds like soft porn. It basically is, yeah. It's like demonic softcore porn. In a game. Which, I mean, there's a huge market for that.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
I just don't think streamers are really the market. She has skin armor. Well, when her chitinous plating over her boobs has nipples, then it's not really armor. It's just saying her boobs are resistant to damage. Don't get me wrong, I'm not bashing the game. I'm just saying it's not something I can play on stream. Some of the screenshots look freaking amazing. Like, I've always had like a soft spot for heavy demonic games.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
I think that's a underserved genre.
Dig deep and let's finish strong.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
That's part of the reason why I really like Lovecraftian stories. It's a genre that's very interesting to me, and it's very underserved. Yeah, I own Agony, and I own Agony the Director's Cut, and I own Succubus, which is like a prequel, right? I haven't played any of them. But they piqued just enough of my interest for their genre to make me go like, yeah, I'll pick this up. I'll take the key. I may play it eventually and just like play it off stream and be like, ah, that was a pretty good game.
Raw material processed. Credits deposited.
Bonkers. Alright, so that should work.
Object not accepted. Please revisit your training.
I'd love for someone to make a Lovecraftian horror game that was kind of like a...
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
You know, something longer than like 10 hours. Call of Cthulhu was really good, but it was very short. You know, I want like a long title. Like a 30 or 40 hour game about Lovecraftian horrors that has more than just suspense and an appearance from Cthulhu for 3 seconds.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Cthulhu's awesome and everything, but there's more Lovecraftian horrors than that. He's not the only one. There's hundreds of them. Well, I did all of the room. I did room 1, 2, and 3. I did... I know there's a new Da Vinci... House of Da Vinci? There's House of Da Vinci 2, I think. I haven't played that, but it's on my Steam wish list. I'm kind of waiting on that to go on sale. But those aren't very Lovecraftian. They're just... You know, that's the other thing, is a lot of the games that are like, oh, it's Lovecraft, you're like, well, there's a hint of a Lovecraftian story, but the game has nothing in it. Other than the story, that's it. There's no, you don't see the horrors, you don't... I want Skyrim Lovecraft. That's what I want. Or, like, Far Cry Lovecraft. You know, something that's got... You actually combat the creatures and stuff like that. That's what I want. I don't want a game that just has Lovecraftian background to it. I want a Lovecraft game. That makes sense?
Just live in the full universe.
Yeah, exactly. Like a Threshold game. I would totally play a game in the Threshold universe. But like, I did that after I played Call of Cthulhu, because I was like, Call of Cthulhu is definitely in the Lovecraft vein. And I mean that in the style of like, it's much closer to what I'm interested in than the puzzle games that don't really have any of that. They're just, there's a Lovecraft story in the background that you don't ever interact with, you just read about.
Processing. Credits deposited.
And so I mean that was really good, but it didn't have anything in it. It was a mystery game that had Cthulhu at the end, is really all it was. You know, there was that one monster fight in the middle. That was really good, but it's an entire game with a single fight.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
You want a good 40K game? Warhammer deserves a really good game. Warhammer deserves a good a good game with story to it. Like, all their games tend to be RTS games too. RTS games are fun, but it's kind of like, it's kind of the lazy man's way to use your IP. You know, you paid all this money to use the IP, and then you're just gonna make an RTS game with it with no story? Or with light story? It's kind of like EA using the Star Wars franchise and only made Battlefront. Like, Battlefront's a fun game and all, but it doesn't have story. It's mainly just you play Star Wars characters that shoot each other in a battlefield. Okay, well that's cool and all, but what about the people that want stories? Well, they do that. They have story games for Star Wars too. But they don't really have those for 40K or what are these things you're talking about, Mom? Are these books or something? Well, the Shore's not. I saw a trailer for the Shore the other day. That looks pretty cool. I'd have to see what the game looks like. Oh, they all are? Okay. The Shore looks like it could be good, but it also has the hint of, like, this is an exploration game that just has Lovecraft stuff around you, and you kind of walk through it and read Lovecraft books that are laying on the ground. And those are still good games. We'll have to see if they actually have like a legit thing going on with them or not. Bonk.
Valuable objects processed. Credits awarded.
There we go, there's that one.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Okay, that's all those.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Your oxygen reserves are low. Note that excess carbon dioxide can cause damage to Link's equipment.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited. Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Okay, nanocarbon and metal are getting close. I also need electrical.
Welcome to Vintage 9000.
I need the power generator.
Oxygen
That's
levels
easy.
stabilizing.
Salvage deposit accepted.
The
Credit
reactor. Let's get this out of there.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Okay, let's rip that computer out.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Cutter, there's 5 minutes remaining in this shift. Get in while the getting's good. We wrap.
Helmet damage detected. Be sure to always budget for helmet repair costs.
I always love it when you do that and the radio starts playing random ass, like Russian dirge music or Russian national music. It's like Tchaikovsky or something. Watch that wall. Yeah, but on that same subject, if you're ever in the mood for Lovecraftian stories, look up Peter Clines and read any of the books from his Threshold series. Preferably in order, but they're not
Salvage
required.
secured. Credits deposited.
They're just better.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
The Threshold series is so good. Back me up on that, Cappy. All right. Have I ever read Piers Anthony? Is that the name of a book or is that an author? doesn't really matter. Either way, the answer is no. I do that all the time. Is that a this or a that? Well, it doesn't matter because the answer to both is no. Then why did I even ask?
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
What kind of stories does he write? Or like, what's his genre?
All right, Cutter. Wrap it up. You got about a minute left.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Fantasy-ish? What do you mean by ish? $4.25 million. Wow, that's really good.
Deposit not accepted.
I keep hitting control when I want to hit shift.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Yeah, but what makes you say ish on fantasy? Is there something about the way he writes that makes it not really fantasy?
Salvage
Or like
secured.
fantasy
Credits
lights?
deposited. Raw material processed. Credits deposited. Salvage secured. Account credit applied. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Oh, okay. So it's not like... It's not...
Secured. Credits deposited.
It's not traditional fantasy in the aspect of like knights or dragons or magic or stuff like that. It's more like...
Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
It is a difficult way to... It would definitely be fantasy, you're right. I guess it would be like modern fantasy, if that's even a thing. Now it wants to go to the furnace. That's my fault.
Raw material process.
Oh, that's an equipment mount. That wasn't even supposed to go down there. I thought it was this thing. This computer terminal. I was wrong. I guess modern fantasy is the best way to say it.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
Oh, okay, so he's also weird. Nothing wrong with that.
Salvage secured.
Okay.
Credits deposited.
Yeah, but in a good way. Yeah, exactly. Definitely, there's nothing wrong with strange and weird. I've definitely read stuff like that. Like I started a while back. I started reading the series called Undying Mercenaries that I would definitely quantify as weird. It's stupid good. But it's definitely a little weird.
Processing valuable objects. Credits awarded.
There we go.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
Yeah, that needs to go down so that that can come up and then out. Yep, just like that. Perfect. And then that whole framework goes in there. Excellent.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
I read fantasy, yeah. I read sci-fi more than fantasy, but I do read fantasy. I read Game of Thrones,
Secured.
Lord of the
Account
Rings, a bunch of other fantasy novels that I can't think off the top of my head. The Sword of Truth series.
Oxygen reserves are low.
I haven't finished the Sword of Truth series. I stopped when it started getting a little strange, but I think I was like on book 5 out of Sword of Truth.
Credits transferred.
Welcome to Vendatron 9000. Thank you for your...
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
Forgotten Realms is just D&D, isn't it?
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
We've got about 5 minutes left in this shift, Cutter. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Weaver out.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
Oh, Salvatore. I'm familiar with him. I don't think I've read any of his works, but
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
I'm really glad it didn't damage the furnace. Sorry, not the furnace. The whatever this thing's called. Reactor, Jesus.
Material deposited.
Words are hard, bro.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited. Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
By the way, that fuel can exploding, I don't know if you could tell or not. Totally my fault. I'm surprised it exploded so close to me. I'm surprised I didn't get hurt. Or even die, for that matter. I thought I was dead.
Cutter. Time to start wrapping things up. Weaver out.
You can say barge all you want. You're not going to the barge. Perfect. Only 1,000,000 that time. Not a lot. But I spent a lot of time cleaning up after my mess. Electrical, mechanical, metal. Okay, so the easy door switches I should pull off. But I should get, I should finish my work objectives first. And then start yanking door switches off. I mean, within reason. Like, if I'm gonna throw a huge chunk of the ship into the furnace to get aluminum, I should get the door hinges off of that before I do it, but... like this guy, he should come out. What is the S book channel used for? Books? Spoilers for books? Is it in discontinued? Because I can bring it back out.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
Or decommissioned, or whatever I called it. Is there not a normal books that does not have an S? Reading Nook. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. Yeah, I think we took the spoiler one out because nobody wanted to post book spoilers. Everybody was all like, why is spoiler book a thing? Just tell them to read it. If you're dedicated enough to read a book, you probably don't want spoilers. Or it was for book discussion, like, after the fact. Aluminum structure? No, that goes in the furnace. Alright, see, like right now, I want to get rid of these things, so I'll probably take the door hinges off. What are these things called anyway, so I can get their names right? airlock consoles. I guess calling it an airlock console is easy. These things are fragile enough that I should pick them up whenever possible. Obviously, if I destroy one, it's not the end of the world. But...
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
Are there airlock door things in here? There are. Plus, even if it's not, if I don't need to get mechanical items for a particular work order right now, missing one is not a deal breaker. It's like, oh, I missed one. Like, oh, I was gonna say like that one. Okay, now I can throw that whole thing in there. And it doesn't matter. This is all process. Well, that's furnace. That's furnace. That's furnace. Well, it's got nanocarbon. It's fine. There, I missed one. Should probably get my electrical before I throw too many of these in there. Build the thing up.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied. Object not accepted. Please revisit your training. Salvage secured. Credits deposited. Salvage secured. Account credit applied. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
I'm a little bummed that those things straight ahead are now called wall terminals instead of computer terminals. Because that prevents them being used... Well, no, maybe they won't. Maybe they'll still count for electrical. Let's look.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Because they don't count for computer terminal. Okay, they do count for electrical.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred. Salvage secured. Account credit applied.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get the reactor now so that I'm not struggling to get it later.
Valuable object processed. Credits awarded.
Shauna series. Nope, don't know what that is.
Object accepted for processing. Credits deposited.
Not familiar.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited. Salvage secured. Account supplied.
Warning. Your oxygen reserves are dropping below statistically profitable levels.
Salvage deposit accepted. Credits transferred.
I take it your jam is fantasy then, huh? You know a lot about fantasy stuff.
Oxygen levels stabilizing.
I don't know if I bought a key yet, so I'm just gonna buy another one.
Processing valuable object. Credits awarded.
All right, Cutter, you got 5 minutes left of this shift before they turn the lights out on you. Here's a pattern. We wrap.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
Why did you not stick to the barge? Oh well. Oh, you've not read a book in a long time? You gotta get back into it, dude. Anything interesting in here I'd missed? There's that airlock door thing. That... Oh man, that was luck. I was like, that's not gonna work.
Salvage secured. Account credit applied. Salvage deposit accepted. Credits
You
transferred.
can listen to audiobooks. Can't tell you how many audiobooks I listened to before I started streaming on the regular. Just playing video games and listening to audiobooks. But nah, I get it.
Raw material processed.
Dude, I just cut that whole thing off. Look at that. I'll take that. Don't say JK, you're not kidding. Don't lie to me.
Salvage secured. Credits deposited.
I will not have you come into my stream and lie to my face.
Cutter, we're getting down to the wire. Let's put a bow on this shift.
All right. So that's going to pull that in. Let's make sure that's successful. It's the newest thing everyone's doing. Lying to me? That checks out.
Valuable object processed. Credits deposited.
What is that? Oh, that's aluminum. Okay, that goes in there. Blame David. I just blame David for most things. It usually works out.